Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today we have the patch notes for patch 16.3. This is the biggest patch that we've had yet. We've got buffs to Anivia, Blitzcrank, Briar, Jhin, Kiana, Ashe, Orianna, Tryndamere, Draven, Leona, Malzahar, Sejuani, Zoe, Braum, Diana, Aatrox, Annie, Mel, Shyvana, Sylas, T-Hex, Thresh, and Xerath. Also buffs to Darken, Ixtal, Piltover, and Void, and then 9 items have also been buffed, and they're also adjusting Galio, reworking Aurelion Soul, Kindred, and Lucian. I think Aesol is in most need of this, definitely needs some good changes. And then lastly, we have nerfs to Echo, Fizz, Garen, Kai'Sa, Taric, Veigar, Ziggs, and Bilgewater. These are pretty much all parts of the top comps, so really not too many surprises there, but let's get into the meat of the patch. We're going to be covering what's changing and also how it's going to be affecting how we play. So first up, we have system changes. Might be one of the biggest changes yet. A lot of people are skipping level 8 and going straight to level 9, so they're raising the XP from level 8 to 9 from 68 to 76. I actually like this change. It does make it a little goofy because going from 9 to 10 is smaller, but I think if they made level 8 just a hint cheaper, that might be another way to do it too. I feel like level 8 is really expensive right now, especially if you do not have an econ augment. But we'll see how these changes work out. I'm down to try it. Next up, we have some encounter changes. So pretty much in some encounters, some augments were too OP. So that's going to be crafting on Gwen's gifts. And then for Emblem Ensemble, that's the one where you get 3 emblems: Coronation, Cursed Crown, Flexible, Legion of Threes, Tactician's Crown, and Earth has been disabled. Legion of Threes was hilarious on this one. I tried it once. You pretty much just auto win streak the early game if you take this because you get buffs based on units that are holding an emblem or if they are a 3 cost. So all of these make sense. They're just like tailor-made augments for some of these encounters, so that's very fair. Next one up, we have our auras. The following champion auras now persist even if the champion dies: Shyvana, Skarner, and Taric. I made a video a little bit before explaining how a lot of people are placing Taric in the middle of their team, despite being their main tank, and the reason why was because you wanted to protect the aura. So that is going to be going away, and it doesn't matter where you put them now, you always get the aura no matter what. Next one up we have is unlock rules. Unlockable 4 and 5 costs are now harder to hit if uncontested. When contested, it's a bit easier to hit 2 stars on your unit, yet still harder to 3-star them. So with the launch of Lore and Legends, we shared the less visible rules to the unlock system early and frequently, and they've learned a lot, so they're addressing how often 3-star 4 cost appears, which has been too common for unlockable units. So they're pretty much making it harder to 3-star when uncontested and slightly easier to 2-star while contested. Next up we have is the unlock conditions. Kai'Sa's level requirement is going to be changed from 8 to 7. Holy cow, that's so different. Pretty much everyone's void boards were built around getting to level 8 as quickly as possible, sometimes even doing it in the neutral round. So this is huge changes to that. Orianna, the 3 Piltover unit unlock, is being changed to 2 items on a Piltover champion. That makes it infinitely easier to get. Tryndamere's item requirement is being changed from 2 to 1. Yorick 2 to 1, and Warwick 2-star Vi and 1-star Jinx is being changed to 1 item on Vi and Jinx with no 2-star requirement. So these make it a lot easier to unlock. You might actually have to be careful now because you might accidentally unlock stuff you don't want. Next up, we have our large changes. Large like the impact of reuniting Diana and Leona on the same board. I'm very excited about this rework. I only heard about it. We're going to find out exactly what happened. But starting off with the traits, we have Bilgewater. Free AD and AP is going to be changed to 20% to 15%. The 2-cost Serpent cost is going to be changed from 30 to 35. Bilgewater Serpents per takedown is being changed from 2 to 1. Bilgewater cannon damage 500 to 300 at Bilgewater 10. I've only seen this once. I wasn't even in the game. I was watching someone else play it. And then the gold per kill 5 to 2. It looked pretty fun. They're saying it's too strong. I'm going to check the stats, go to traits. 10 Bilgewater was doing a 1.18, which I guess is fair, right? Like, how much do you want from one of your top traits? Maybe it was too easy to get. Next one up we have is going to be Darken. 3-piece damage being changed from 100 to 333. Ixtal Quest reroll is going to be changed from 56888 to 46777. Ixtal Quest medium reroll quest is going to be changed from 10, 12, 16, 16, 16 to 18, 11, 15, 15, 15. But they're pretty much lowering the numbers for a bunch of different things. Let's see what they talk about here. We're giving Ixtal some buffs that won't exactly change the high end of the trait. We're making sure the less worthwhile bait quests are now #worth, to making it standard that when you cash out with over 700 shards, you'll always be able to get a 2-star Brock if you use your champion duplicators. And that's great because the age-old wisdom goes, when you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, you should always take a Brock and hopefully a first place. Next for Ixtal, the cash outs, they're going to be changed from cash out A at 700 summon shard to being a completed item anvil plus a duplicator, or just 30 gold and 2 greater duplicators. I think the first one's going to be probably a little better. Actually, at 700, that's pretty hard to get to. Maybe you just want the Brock 2 right away. That one's tough. I feel like you should be able to win with the Brock 1 and then get the completed item anvil. I don't know. This one's a little bit weird. The 800 cash out is being changed from 50 gold to 30 gold and 2 Brocks. Cash out B, 145 gold, is being changed to 120 and 2 greater duplicators. Wait, isn't this one just like so much better than the other one? Oh yeah, I guess it's because they have different power levels for each one so that it's a little bit more RNG based. And then lastly, we have 5 cost unit to 2 Brocks. Obviously, you still get the full Radiant item rewards that they normally have, so it's this in addition to all of those. But for Piltover Continuum cogs, it's going to be changed from 12 to 15 AP. Piltover 4 Acceleration Gate, Mana Restore 35 to 40. Magnetron Coil Base, Damage Amp is going to be nerfed a little bit at 4. And then Piltover 6 Armor Nullifier Tank Amp is going to be buffed 10%, and the upgrade attack speed 15 to 25. Void will always offer Offensive Mutation first. Void Spitter Spines damage 111 to 100. Void Royal Husk Summon HP 25 to 30%, and then Void Summon Base Resist 30 to 40. I think offering offensive first makes a lot of sense. It makes it a little bit more consistent in terms of what you're expecting. It's not that the offensive are better than defensive. I think some of the defensive are good. But now it makes splashing Kaisa a lot easier in a lot of other comps that you really only want to run like 2 Void in, or like whichever. It could be Bel'Veth at some certain patches too. So next up we have our tier 1s. Anivia attack speed going to be buffed up. Blitzcrank mana going to be dropped. Let's see what they're talking about here. Oftentimes in the mid to late game, Blitzcrank won't survive long enough to cast even once. We're giving them a mana buff to keep rolling and prove that metal is harder than flesh. Previously, Jhin with attack speed builds was too good for a 1 cost, while without attack speed, he'd be too bad. Because 2 2s don't make a 4, we've got a small rework for Jhin. Alright, so Jhin base AD is going to be 48 to 44, and Jin's new ability sets Jhin attack speed to a fixed 1.0 attack speed. And then spell damage is going to be increased, and then they're saying this should make him less dependent on Rageblade, as he's going to be a more universal AD item holder. Kiana ability damage is going to be bumped up a little bit in 3 and 4 star, so in case you're doing Kiana reroll, I haven't quite seen that build work yet, but it is going to be a bit stronger. Units tier 2, Ashe spell damage is going to be buffed up across the board. Last patch we over-nerfed Ashe and Tryndamere. Didn't I say that last patch too? Tryndamere ability damage is going to be bumped up a little bit. Is this enough to bring them back in? I honestly don't think so. I'll have to read the rest of the patch to really know for sure. Echo Resist is going to be changed from 50 to 45, and then Orianna Mana 20 out of 60 to 20 out of 50. Next up we have is tier 3, Draven base AD, going to be bumped up by 3. I thought people were complaining about Draven, but he actually got buffed. Leona, while surviving, your strongest Leona grants your strongest Diana 3, 4, 5, 10 ability power each second. That should be crazy. Okay, that should be good. I'm glad that they're finally buffing Leona so that Leona plus Diana can be played together, because in my previous guides, and a lot of people have been asking me this, they're like, are you sure you don't want to run Diana with Leona? The answer is yes, because Leona makes it so that Diana attacks the targets you don't want to attack, because Leona makes her want to attack tanks. But now with the changes, like hopefully we will be able to see Leona and Diana pretty much tag teaming a lot of boards. Next up we have is Malzahar ability damage going to be buffed up across the board. Sejuani shield amount going to be bumped up too. I thought Sej was fine. Sejuani is a tank that's just never itemized. That's just not true. A lot of people itemized her in the Tryndamere and Ashe comp, but since that didn't exist last patch, then yeah, sure. For last patch it wasn't true. Zoe ability damage is going to be buffed up a bunch. I actually really like Zoe. I think she's a really good utility AP unit in the mid game. I love using her as temporary item holder for pretty much any AP comp because she can fit in pretty much anything. Next one up, we have our units tier 4. We have Braum mana buff. I like Braum a lot personally. They're giving a lot of Freljord buffs out there. Freljord is good with the Invoker builds with Zillion. It's good with some Volibear stuff, obviously. There's some Rise boards that use some random Freljord combos. So maybe those comps are going to be a bit better with the Braum and Sejuani buffs. Diana shield duration is going to be 2 seconds with no mana lockout. It's going to be changed to shield and mana lockout when Diana dashes end. Diana shield target amount is going to be buffed up. Target damage is going to be nerfed at 1 star, buffed at 2 star, buffed at 3 star. Secondary damage is going to be nerfed at 1 star, nerfed at 2 star, and staying the same at 3 star. Do they say anything about this? Diana's getting reworked and rebalanced with a couple of changes to her kit. She used to not be mana locked, making her want to cast as much as possible to stack more shields. Now she has a stronger shield, but only exists while she is dashing. It's bigger during that time, and she's going to have a lot more AP thanks to the lady on and or starting fires, but she's going to take a while to warm up over the course of the fight. So she kind of has like an Archangel's built in. So you definitely still want to stack her, but you need to make sure that she actually survives the whole fight. Bloodthirster gonna be mandatory probably. Maybe there are ways to make the crit build work with Jeweled Gauntlet. We'll have to see. Some survivability would be nice, like Titan's probably still gonna be good. Do you want the Rage Blade still? That one I'm unsure about, because they did change that a little bit in the last patch. But in case you need to know what the best items are on each champion, I will be updating the website bunnymuffins.lol/meta, as I do every single week. Website is generally updated on Thursday, which is when the patch comes out, and then the video comes out on Friday. Fizz fixed a bug where Fizz targeting was inconsistent among backliners. Fizz splash damage is going to be dropped at 1 and 2 star. Fizz empowered attack is going to be dropped at 1 and 2 star as well. And then Fizz attack speed going to be buffed up. So we've got a decent sized nerf for Fizz on the line for Fizz. He's always meant to be a nuisance. He casts a lot without doing a ton of damage, but lately he's been taking out 2-star 4-cost backliners too easily and too early. We're going hard on his damage here, but doubling his attack speed bonus so that he could get back to playing Playful Trickster and be a little bit more annoying. Okay, Garen heal is going to be dropped at 1 and 2 star. Kaisa 1 star AD Kaisa spell damage. This one's going to be nerfed a little bit. And then AP is also going to be nerfed a bit as well. They have to do this because they're making her accessible at level 7, so she just has to be worse. Taric adjusted at 35% health, gain 90% durability for 2 seconds. This one's going to be changed to heal for 300, 700, and 2500 health over 2 seconds instead. Is this one worse or better? So for Taric, it turns out 90% durability was essentially Oxforce style tanking, which is not great or healthy for the game, as it would prevent almost the entirety of a consequential cast, where other times it would only block 2 or 3 autos. These highs and lows need to be replaced by something more consistent and less frustrating, which is going to be the heal over time. Okay, makes sense. We'll have to see if these numbers actually are good though. I'll personally be data checking this on teamfight.lol. You just go to stats and then champions, and then Taric should show up somewhere around where the 4 costs normally show up. Right now he is like pretty played. He's at a 2.91 play rate. If you sort by that, which I recommend doing for a lot of these units, like he's one of the most popular units in the game right now. If this goes higher or lower, we'll have to see based on what these changes do. Units tier 5, we have a lot of changes, holy cow. Aatrox's spellcast animation no longer scales with attack speed. Spell damage is going to be buffed up. Annie's mana is going to be dropped by 10. That's pretty big because, you know, Annie loves mana items and she needs to cast as much as possible. Post-cast mana reduction, 150 to 140. Annie is still 20 mana. Aurelion Soul mana is going to be changed from 20 out of 90 to 25 out of 75. Aesol spell damage is going to be bumped up a tiny bit. Aesol shockwave damage is going to be bumped up a bit at 1 and 2 star, actually doubled. And then meteor damage, 1000 to 500. Stardust rework no longer gains 1 Stardust for each time an enemy is damaged by an ability. 1 Stardust is now gained for every 250 ability damage dealt to enemies this combat. So the way he's stacking is going to be changing. The Forger bonus Stardust is going to be 20 out of 60 to 20 out of 30, and then the breakpoints are going to be increased at 1, stays the same, increase, 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 and decrease at level 8. Let's see what they have to say about this, because that was a lot to kind of digest. Aesol has struggled to fill the celestial dragon-sized shoes a flying behemoth would never need. We're reworking how he gathers Stardust to be based on his damage instead of units hit, opening up more than just mana builds. Okay, that's a pretty important change. Upgrade breakpoints have been returned around this. Yeah, that's fair. Like the Rageblade, Shojin builds were kind of weird. So now you're going to be building more traditional AP builds. Galio crash damage, 400, 675, 5000 is going to be changed to 150, 225, 1000 armor plus MR. So it's not going to be super MR focused. Before you'd see like tons of Dragon Claw builds. Now you have to kind of build both. So you don't want to like stack up too many Dragon Claws, I guess. Maybe it's like Dragon and Thornmail now. But Galio has been the beneficiary of some ability returning. Instead of having his damage scale with his MR, it'll now depend on both armor and MR. So yeah, his build's going to be a bit more diverse now, which probably is going to be a good thing. Kindred is getting a rework. Spell no longer prevents allies from dying. Really? It now shields allies for a bunch of AP in the zone's duration. So this is going to be part of the fight RNG conversation. Like sometimes it would save a billion people. Sometimes it would do nothing. So I guess the shield does make it more consistent. It is less fun. I thought this effect was cool. Like obviously the Tarek one felt a bit weird, but the Kindred one, that one looked really cool, right? Kindred's eternal passive damage is going to be changed from 300 to 325, and then zone duration 2 seconds to 2.5. Lucian and Senna is getting a rework. Soulbound tooltip clarifies that damage amp and durability only persists while they survive. Senna no longer applies Black Mist to enemies. Lucian no longer consumes Black Mist. Senna's spell damage is going to be buffed up at 1 and 2 star, and the spell does 8% less damage for each target hit, up to a maximum of 40% reduction. Mel's primary target damage is going to be bumped up by 100 at 1 star, and then Shyvana's passive ability damage reduction 10% to 8%. The thing about Mel is that, yeah, she hasn't been played too much. When you compare her to Sylas, Sylas also is harder to unlock. Mel, you really just need Mbessa. It really just depends if Noxus is good or not and if Mbessa is good or not. Because if Mbessa's not good, you're not going to play her to get into Mel. And then it's also weird because you need a mix of items. Shyvana mana 0 out of 40 being changed to 0 out of 30, and then spell duration 3.5 to 3 seconds. Damage per second going to be increased. So Shyvana's going to be smacking a little bit harder, but also tanking a little bit less. Sylas, magic resist going to be bumped up by 10, T-Hex 10 resist, 10 base AD, and then spell damage can be increased a bit. T-Hex missile damage is also going to be changed from 30% of base to 25% of base. What did they say about T-Hex? T-Hex was an issue before, but last patch he wasn't really seen too much. Previously on patch notes, T-Hex was slain in 16.2 after nearly a full patch of complete domination, using 3-star Caitlyn's blah blah blah. T-Hex should be able to take out frontliners just as fast as before with a few limitations. First, the cast won't last as long, and second, the damage fall off nerfs still make his backline access limited. And third, we're lowering his ambient missile damage that can occasionally poke down backliners as well, so T-Hex is back but your backline is not on the menu. So he's going to be more as an anti-tank it looks like, but still with some damage to the backline. Next one up we have is Thresh passive damage. 30 and 50 AP plus 1 per 20 souls is going to be changed to 30 and 50 plus 1 per 15 souls. That's going to encourage you to play more Shadow Owls when you are playing Thresh, instead of dropping down and replacing with random legendaries. Passive healing is going to be changed from 50 to 75% damage dealt. Xerath Ascendant Charms, Desert Golem renamed to Desert Golems. Cost is going to be changed from 6 to 8. Golem count 1 to 2. Wow, that's crazy stuff. Golem bonus damage is going to be nerfed a little bit, and ability nerfed as well. So you get 2 golems now, but it's going to be a little worse and more expensive. But overall, I think this is like very, very good. Like you don't care about your gold in the late game, right? You want to just win the fights, and when you have Xerath out there, getting 2 golems, even if they are a little bit weaker, 2 is bigger than 1, last I checked. Persistent Arcanery now grants Xerath 3 mana regen. Persistent Arcanery extra blast 4 to 2. Rite of Negotiation no longer grants durability. Rite of Negotiation now grants 15% damage amp, and then Sacrificial Guard is being removed, and then Ziggs passive 45 out of 80 to 40 out of 65. So Ziggs is getting a nerf here. Nothing crazy, like, yeah, he will be nerfed, but he was like literally the best unit of the last patch, so he still should be playable. It's nothing like super duper devastating in my opinion. Core items, Edge and Knight now heals for 30% of missing health at the end of invulnerability. Wait, that's a huge buff, right? We're buffing our worst performing core items and giving Nashor's Tooth AP. So yeah, Nashor's Tooth getting 5 more AP. But that's crazy stuff, right? Like, Edge and Knight just got like 30% missing health. Like, that's crazy. I think it activates at around, what, like 60% health? Yeah, at 60% health, become untargetable and shed negative effects, and then now you heal 30% of missing health. Artifacts, Darkened Scythe health 0 to 250. AP 25 to 0. Artifacts are just a tad below where we want them to be, so we're buffing our struggling ancient gear. As an Ornn enjoyer, all I see are Ornn buffs. Dawn Cord 10 to 15, Flicker Blades 5 to 6. Yeah, Flicker Blades hasn't really been that good this set. Gambler's Blade Gold Chance 5 to 6, the Indomitable max HP 12 to 15, and Sniper's Focus 20 to 25%. Radiant items, Nashor's Tooth AP gonna be buffed along the lines of this other Nashor's Tooth buff. Edge of Night, the Radiant one, already has like a similar effect, so they're not doing that. Also, it's incredibly good. Have you ever seen Radiant Edge of Night? It's absolutely bonkers busted. Depends on the champion, of course, though. But at 60% health, become untargetable, shed negative effects, and heal all missing health. Like, come on, man. That's pretty good, right? Next up, we have our augments. Cosmic Calling. This is a gold one, and this is going to be new, 3-2 only. Gain a Spear, Shojin, and a Leona. On stage 3-7, gain a Tarek. So that's going to be good if you really want to go into Targon. Growth Mindset re-enabled, no longer reduces XP cost to 3. Initial XP 36 to 50. So if you just want 50 XP, this is what you take. Aura farming, 2-star 5 cost now holds a recommended item. The unlock round is being changed from 4-3 to 4-5. Overall, this probably is going to make it better, right? Because you get the item now. That sounds like a buff. Am I crazy in thinking about that? But Bringer of Ruin, AP per takedown, 2-1. That's an Otacon one. Call to Chaos, melee carry, golem, reward removed. Golden Egg reward, initial completed items is being changed from 2-1. Chosen Wolves, Mbessa bonus AD, 30-40. Wolves damage, 25-30. By the way, fun fact, you can check the trait win rates of these like trait augments by checking the trait stats. So if you do like Chosen Wolves here, you can tell that it's been averaging a 5.03. Nice little fun fact there for all of these augments that give a trait, that is. Component Heist turns 5-4. This one's so bad, like holy cow, but maybe at 4 it's okay. Even then, like no, there's much better things to get. Crash Test Dummy stun duration being increased. Demacia Forever health per rally decreased. Dragon Guards, Jarvan, Armor, and MR damage is being changed from 185 to 100, 120, 155, and 200, so now it scales. Exile Shields, 35-30, going long, you get 1 less XP, but you get more initial gold. So it's going to be better early game, going to be worse late game. But it's kind of always been like this. It's kind of like a top 4 augment. So now it's just more into that identity. Golden Egg Cash Out with Anima Visage is replaced with the Indomitable. That one's a lot better then. Hard Commit, gold per stage 2-7. Hefty rerolls, health per round 8-9. Hustler no longer grants 2 XP per round. Hustler gold per round 2-3. Hustler initial gold 1-6. Know Your Enemy damage amp 10 out of 18 to 8 out of 15. Pair of 4 is removed. Precision and Grace no longer dashes at the start of combat. Precision and Grace new tooltip. At the start of combat, allies gain 25% attack speed for 3 seconds on takedown. Allies dash to their next target and gain this bonus again. And then Preparation, gonna get a little buff. Both of them, Slice of Life, unit cost given per stage is going to be nerfed. Holy cow, that's actually pretty big. I know this was a popular augment, but yeah, like this just gives a lot less gold in the early game, right? Spreading Roots, gold is going to be changed from 4-2. Sweet Treats, health per item, 25-20. Trait Tree gold, 7-2. Trait Tree plus gold, 12-4. They just buffed emblems too much, so yeah, it makes sense that they're nerfing the random emblem augments. Wild Growth bonus, 25-35. World Runes temporarily removed, and then Worth the Wait no longer has a 2-turn delay before granting more copies. Nothing too crazy going on. Most of these are usually just data checks, though I am surprised about aura farming. I feel like this is going to be really, really good. I am excited to also try this new Targon augment. That one looks pretty fun, especially with the Targon changes. Bug fixes, Darius no longer, mana locks for longer than intended in some rare circumstances. Bandit Thieves 1 and 2 are now mutually exclusive. Galio no longer interacts unintentionally with other systems. 1-2-3s no longer grants an additional 1-cost champion. Is that what it did? I had no idea. Those are for cooking, not for eating. Tom Kench can no longer spit out spatulas and frying pans. Bilgewater items no longer interact unintentionally with other systems. Units no longer lose durability from Big Friend 1 if they separate from their ally with 1750 health during combat. Wait, is that what happened? No way, right? How long has this bug been in existence for? I've always taken this and just put them next to the guy and just assumed they had it the whole fight. Void mutations no longer persist from higher tiers when dropping to lower tiers. Armories now last indefinitely in tutorial mode. Sentinels of Light augment disabled, and then fixed cases where 7 Ixal wouldn't work before or after PvE rounds. So tons of changes there. Let's try to summarize this up because, again, this was the biggest patch we've had so far. I think Diana should be very interesting. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but it should at the very least be interesting. They did nerf Echo, but that was only by like 5 resistances, I think. The Fizz chain should be fun to play around with. He's just going to be jumping around everywhere. Probably going to be a great secondary carry or a Thieves Glove holder. But again, you're not probably going to be making best in slots for him anymore because he's not going to be tapping the back line. Kaisa, I think, is going to be very good at the 7 unlock stage. Like, they put nerfed here, but, like, because you get her so much easier now, it's going to be a lot better. So I think Void's actually going to be pretty good, like, from what I've been seeing. Malzahar also got buffed. Are there ever going to be reroll Malzahar builds? I kind of want to be able to see that. Annie should be a bit more playable. That 10 mana really does make a big difference because the whole point of her is just to cast as soon as possible. It's going to be a bit easier to do that. I think one big change we all need to pay attention to, though, is going to be the level 8 to 9 changes. It's going to be a bit harder to get to legendaries. I think that's why they buffed them up a little bit. So we're probably going to have to play around level 8 boards a little bit more than we usually did before. Next, the Ashe Tryndamere reroll. They are buffing it, but it was really bad last patch. Like, disgustingly bad. Like, if we look at the average 3-star 2-cost placements, Tryndamere was at 4.34, Ashe was at 4.51. Like, that's really not where you want to be. You normally want to be at like low 4s at the very least. because this assumes that you get the 3-star, right? So all the games where you don't get the 3-star, it's going to be very, very rough, obviously, which would bring the actual average down a bit. But I feel like they got nerfed a little bit too hard before. The buff should help. I did forget that Sejuani is also being buffed a little bit. So maybe the comp is going to be playable. It shouldn't be like D tier, but like maybe at least like a B, maybe an A, maybe an A. I'm hoping for an A. I really did like that comp a lot. It's also easier to unlock Tryndamere now. So in those times where you get only 2 item components at the start of the game, you should still be able to unlock Tryndamere on stage 2-1. So that is going to be a buff to them. I didn't even think about that till now. So that definitely changes things up a bit. I'm excited to play. Honestly, he hasn't been mentioned in this patch yet, but I'm excited to play Rise because like Freljord got buffed, and I always play Rise with a lot of Volibear, so I'm excited to try around with that. But after that, Sylas should be interesting. I'm not a big T-Hex fan, but we'll have to see how he does with these recent buffs. But really looking forward to playing some Acel. I hope Acel actually is a thing. Like, obviously, it shouldn't be something that you just hard force every game or anything like that, but I'm hoping he's at least a good option if you have a bunch of Targon units. I feel like that's just a cool concept of unit, the Acel. So I'm really hoping he is a thing. And with the Zoe buffs, that also helps as well because it's AP item holder into another AP. And then now they could pretty much share whichever items that they want. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this patch. What did they miss? What did they not miss? What did I miss? And of course, don't forget to check out bunnymuffins.lol/meta tomorrow for the updates on the new patch along with other random TFT guides. And also teamfight.lol for all your stat checking needs right as the patch drops. This is always going to be updated pretty much no matter what. But that's going to be it for me today. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.